Welcome back to the deep dive. We're diving into a topic you guys specifically requested this time, glaucoma. And, eyes are amazing, but let's be real, the science can get a little dense. So today, we're going to make understanding glaucoma, well, crystal clear.
And maybe even a little fun. It's great to be here. It's definitely a good one to zero in on. A lot of folks have glaucoma and don't even realize it. In fact, our source material here says it affects about 3 million Americans.
3 million, that's huge. No wonder people want to understand it better.
And it's the second leading cause of blindness worldwide. So, yeah, we're definitely going to break it down for you today.
Okay, so first things first, what exactly is glaucoma?
So, it's not just one thing. It's actually a group of eye conditions. But the common denominator is that they all damage the optic nerve. That's the critical cable connecting your eye to your brain.
The optic nerve. Okay, so if that gets damaged.
Vision problems, for sure.
Yeah.
It's like, if you think of that optic nerve like, say, a fiber optic cable carrying a signal, any damage disrupts the signal and you lose picture quality.
Right. Makes sense. But our source material also mentions this damage often comes from increased eye pressure, but not always.
You're right. You're right. It usually does, but not always.
Mm-hmm.
That's where things get a little more, shall we say, interesting. And that's why glaucoma can be a bit tricky.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So tell me more about this eye pressure thing.
Okay, so we're talking about intraocular pressure, or IOP. It's the fluid pressure inside your eye. When it's too high for too long, we'll think of it like a balloon. Too much air, too much pressure, and eventually it's going to weaken the walls, maybe even burst.
Right, okay, now that makes total sense. But then how can you have glaucoma without the high pressure?
Excellent question. And that's where we get into the different types of glaucoma. The pressure thing is definitely a big player, but not the only one. And what's really important to remember, no matter the cause, the damage to the optic nerve, it's irreversible. So early detection is really, really key.
Early detection is key. Okay, got it. I bet everyone's itching to know more about these different types of glaucoma then, each one unique.
You bet. There are 5 main types, each with its own quirks. Let's start with the most common one, shall we? Open-angle glaucoma.
Okay, open angle, what's the deal with that one?
Sneaky one, this one. Develops slowly, you might not even notice any symptoms at first, hence the nickname. Silent thief of sight.
Silent thief? Yikes. I guess that's why you need to get your eyes checked regularly, even if you think everything's fine, right?
Absolutely. You're preaching to the choir here. Regular eye exams, crucial. But on the flip side, we have acute angle closure glaucoma. Way less common, but much more dramatic, like action movie stuff.
Uh-oh, that sounds a little scarier. What happens?
Think sudden blockage in your eye's drainage system. Pressure spikes rapidly. Medical emergency.
Wow, definitely don't want to mess around with that. So we've got the common but sneaky one and the rare but urgent one. What about the other 3 types our listeners asked about?
Well, the next one is secondary glaucoma, which is a real medical mystery.
A medical mystery. I'm hooked. Lay it on me.
It's not caused by a problem with the eye's drainage system itself, but by something else entirely, an injury, certain meds, even another eye condition. It's like your eyes are trying to tell you something else is going on.
Interesting. The eyes really are the windows to the soul, and maybe our overall health, too.
You said it. And then there's normal tension glaucoma. Remember we were talking about eye pressure?
The balloon thing.
Right. Well, with this type, you can have optic nerve damage and vision loss, but with normal eye pressure readings.
Wait, really? How is that even possible?
Well, it's a real head-scratcher. Shows just how much we still have to learn about glaucoma, Scientists are working on it, trying to figure out what makes this one tick.
Wow, so it's a real medical mystery.
You got it. And last but not least, we've got pediatric glaucoma. This one, as you might guess, affects kids, mostly infants. Often genetic or developmental issues with, you guessed it, the eye's drainage system. Thankfully rare, though.
Ooh, well, that's good news. But still, a lot to think about here. So many different ways glaucoma can develop, and it can affect anyone, really.
Exactly. And knowing the types is only half the battle. Understanding your own risk factors, that's just as crucial. And that's what we're going to dive into next.
All right, so let's talk risk factors. This is where it gets personal, folks. You listening right now, you might be wondering, am I at risk? Well, one of the first things to think about, picture your family tree.
Exactly. That family history, it's a biggie. If you've got a close relative, like a parent, sibling with glaucoma, your own risk goes way up, like 4 to 9 times more likely. Those are the stats.
4 to 9 times. Okay, yeah, that's significant. Genetics, man. But it's not just family history, is it? Our sources also mentioned ethnicity.
Right. Again, Statistically speaking, people of African, Asian, or Hispanic descent, they tend to have a higher chance of developing glaucoma
Ah,
compared to, Caucasians.
okay, so those are two things we can't really control, right? Genetics, ethnicity, that's who we are. But then there's another one that, well, none of us can escape. Age.
True, true. Age is definitely a factor. As we get older, that risk just naturally climbs. Especially after 55, things really start to...
Ticking time bomb, right. Okay, so we've got family history, ethnicity, and age. Any other risk factors we should be aware of before we get to the good stuff, the actionable steps?
Well, yeah, for sure. A few more things to keep in mind. Certain medical conditions, like if you've got diabetes, high blood pressure, that can up your risk too. And you might be surprised to know, even some medications, like using corticosteroids long term.
It's amazing, isn't it, how everything in the body is connected. You mentioned high blood pressure, and it makes me think about lifestyle choices. Like, could those play a role in our eye health, too?
Absolutely. Taking care of your body is taking care of your eyes. So yeah, healthy weight, regular exercise, good diet, all that good stuff. It all helps.
Music to my ears. It's not all doom and gloom, right?
Mhm.
There are things we can actively do. So for our listeners out there who maybe checked off a few of those risk factor boxes, where do they even begin? What are the most important, I guess, practical steps to protect their vision?
The absolute most important, I can't stress this enough, get those regular eye exams. And I'm not talking just a quick read the letters on the chart thing. A real comprehensive eye exam with a pro, someone who knows their stuff.
Because even if someone feels fine, like their vision seems okay, certain types of glaucoma, like that sneaky open angle we talked about, it might not show any symptoms early on, right?
Exactly. That's why these regular checkups are non-negotiable. During a good eye exam, your doctor's going to do a bunch of tests. Checking your eye pressure, that's a big one. It's called tonometry. Key to catching glaucoma early.
An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, they always say, right? Especially for our eyes. But while those regular checks are at the top of the list, I'm guessing it's also important to, be aware, stay informed about potential warning signs too.
You got it. Regular exams are like your first line of defense.
Yeah.
But yeah, knowing the warning signs, that's good backup.
Okay, so for someone listening who's thinking, all right, got to be more proactive about my eye health, what are some of those red flags, things to watch out for?
Well, keep an eye out for things like sudden eye pain. Seeing halos around lights, that could be a sign. Blurred vision, of course. And in more serious cases, even nausea or vomiting. But, and this is important, these things can be caused by other stuff too, not just glaucoma.
Good point. So not about self-diagnosing, more like, hey, something's not right, time to get it checked out sort of thing.
Exactly. When it comes to your vision, better safe than sorry,
Couldn't agree more. This has been seriously eye-opening, no pun intended. It's clear that staying informed about our eye health, knowing the risks, and actually taking action, it can make a world of difference.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
And the amazing thing is, even with all we know about glaucoma, there's still so much more to learn. It's kind of exciting, really.
It really is fascinating, isn't it? There's always more to learn. And, that's what I love about these deep dives. There's always that lingering question, that food for thought as we wrap things up.
And today's food for thought is a real humdinger. We talked about normal tension in glaucoma, right?
Yeah.
Where people have damage to the optic nerve, they're losing vision, but their eye pressure is normal. That just goes to show you, we don't have all the answers.
Totally. So what does that tell us? Where do we go from there?
Well, if you can have glaucoma without the high pressure, what else are we missing? What other factors are out there that we haven't even considered yet?
It's like a whole other layer of the mystery.
Exactly. And the good news is, scientists are all over it, trying to unlock these mysteries, find new ways to diagnose and treat glaucoma. It's an exciting time for research in this area, that's for sure.
That is good news. So to everyone listening, I hope you're walking away from this deep dive feeling a little more, empowered, a little more knowledgeable about glaucoma, and maybe even a little amazed by the fact that we're still making new discoveries about eye health all the time.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power, right?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to our health.
Couldn't agree more. Big thanks to you, Doc, for joining us on this deep dive into glaucoma. And to all our listeners, keep those eyes peeled for more fascinating facts and get your eyes checked. Seriously, until next time.
You got it. See ya.